All right, everyone. Hello and welcome into what was supposed to be the first day of pitchers and catchers reporting for Major League Baseball, signifying the early beginnings of spring training and baseball taking over the sport for this calendar year. Unfortunately, it looks like that's not going to happen. Things are going to be delayed because of the continued existence of Rob Manfred being the MLB commissioner and the MLB instituted lockout. What a dumpster fire. Oh my God. Are we going to have baseball in 2022? I don't know. It's a huge mystery. It's always my first love. The sport has been, and I am very concerned about that going forward. But luckily for us here at Skull Ohio, we are not a baseball show. This is not a baseball podcast. We have our own issues, dilemmas, concerns, and mysteries to unravel surrounding the Minnesota Vikings. So let's take care of our own business and hope baseball figures themselves out, at least at some point where the season won't be delayed. Good God. All right, so today I'd like to unravel the mystery of Kellen Mond, because I feel like on this channel anyway, we don't talk about Kellen Mond a whole bunch, at least not since spring training of last year, and maybe a little bit here, a little bit there. But Kellen Mond's existence on this roster entering the Kevin O'Connell era is kind of a mystery that I'd like to try to solve with a little conspiracy theory regarding a more recent coaching hire that has been added to the staff once Kevin O'Connell takes over. So the last time that I made a video, we talked about all of the additions that Kevin O'Connell has been making sort of in the shadows as he prepared for Super Bowl week, so we are up to speed on that. Kevin O'Connell himself will not officially be introduced as the next Vikings head coach, at least until Thursday. I believe that they're just giving him time post-Super Bowl victory to celebrate, attend the parade tomorrow, which is Wednesday in Los Angeles, and then they will get him into Minnesota on Wednesday at the TCO Performance Center, iron out the contract, finish the deal, sign, put pen to paper, introduce him, make a nice little video package they can use to promote the franchise, what have you, and they will get all of that squared away. So while we're waiting for that, let's try to figure out Kellen Mond, at least for right now. So Kellen Mond last year, third-round pick out of Texas A&M. If you have any reason to believe Mike Zimmer, you would think that Kellen Mond is damaged goods, and he was never going to be an NFL quarterback based on him being almost entirely inactive last year, had a not so good preseason. The coach, Mike Zimmer, had nothing really good to say about him and didn't even want to talk to him. He sounded upset and insulted when reporters would ask questions about him. And the only meaningful snaps that he ever got was against Green Bay, where Sean Mannion had to come out of a game against the Green Bay Packers, and it was a 3-and-out drive that told us absolutely nothing about the capabilities of Kellen Mond. So we have a mystery to solve regarding Kellen Mond going forward. Is he going to be part of this team's future? Can he be a part of this team's future? And what is Kevin O'Connell going to do about it? Because the thing that we got to realize with Kevin O'Connell, being an offensive-minded guy, coming in to shake up the culture, make changes, a new direction and a new era of Minnesota Vikings football, is that he gets the quarterback position, not just because he's a quarterback himself, but because he's coached with very important people. Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay. He's seen firsthand just now in Los Angeles with the Rams, having won a Super Bowl, how important the quarterback position is and how it can take you to the promised land. Now, it also helps to have guys like Jalen Ramsey, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, Odell Beckham Jr. The list goes on and on. It always helps to have a great roster. But they upgraded from Jared Goff to Mathew Stafford. So Kevin O'Connell is hyper aware that the most important position in the NFL and arguably all of sports needs the most attention that you can give it. And I think that they're beginning to do that because as we continue to wait for Kevin O'Connell to be introduced, additions keep getting made to the coaching staff. And the most recent addition was Gerard Johnson, who looks like he is going to be the next assistant quarterbacks coach for the Minnesota Vikings. Not the quarterbacks coach, the assistant quarterbacks coach. So quick history on Gerard Johnson, if you're not familiar with him, Texas A&M quarterback, led the school or held the school record in passing yards until Kellen Mond came along, goes undrafted in the NFL draft, bounces around several teams throughout his career. He's on and off practice squads, on and off different teams, getting signed and released, just weeks apart, and then officially, I think, retires in 2016, enters the Bill Walsh coaching diversity program. 2017 gets a job with the 49ers, moves on with the Indianapolis Colts a few years later, gets promoted to offensive quality control coach, and now it looks like he will be the next assistant quarterbacks coach of the Minnesota Vikings. So he continues to climb the ladder, hasn't been coaching very long, but it's just an interesting hire because I feel like because of the Texas A&M ties, and maybe I'm reading too much into that, and I probably am, but it feels like that this could be a sort of a mentor for Kellen Mond to figure out what he is, where he is in his terms of development, how badly did the previous coaching staff sort of ruin and cripple his development, like where is he in terms of progress, because it's been a year already. Didn't get a lot of meaningful reps, wasn't active most of the regular season. They really need to figure out what Kellen Mond brings to the table, and is he going to be somebody that can contribute for 2022 or even beyond, because they have a huge decision that they got to make coming up very quickly. And I don't think people can really grasp right now how quickly these decisions are going to be, because free agency is looming. It's about 4 to 5 weeks away. I remember last year when the dust settled in terms of general manager hirings and coaching searches, that it was just 15 days later that Mathew Stafford got traded to the Rams. So things are going to happen rapidly, and it's going to pick up speed. We're about to go off to the races, if you will. So I think this season is going to be an evaluation for any Vikings player that survives free agency, does not get cut, and does not get traded. And I think Kellen Mond is going to be a big project for Kevin O'Connell. And Kevin O'Connell gets it. He's seen what a quarterback can do for you. You make the change from Jared Goff to Mathew Stafford, you get to the Super Bowl. They're looking at the NFL draft right now, all of the prospects. One of the flavors, or one of the popular criticisms of this quarterback class, is that there's not a clear-cut number one, and it's basically a total crapshoot with all of them. So I think that the addition of Gerard Johnson, the Texas A&M connection, might be giving Kellen Mond sort of a mentor to figure out what he's going to be with this team. And it'll be interesting to see who they fill the quarterback's coach position with here in the next week or so. So that's kind of my little conspiracy theory about Kellen Mond. Now, personally, in my opinion, I understand that nobody is a fan of Mike Zimmer right now. Nobody is a fan of Rick Spielman right now, but we need to approach this with the possibility that they might have been right, and that Kellen Mond might have been a mistake when it comes to having picked him at the beginning of the third round with one of their first third round picks. I believe they had 4 total. It's very possible that Kellen Mond is just damaged goods, and he was never going to be able to develop into a quarterback that would be starting caliber. It's just very possible. Third round quarterbacks, they don't pan out too often. And, there's a reason that teams pass on a player multiple times. You have multiple chances before the third round to potentially select this quarterback. And everybody decided, no, there's other options out here that we like better. We got to fill other needs. We're not going to reach for a Texas A&M quarterback and who we view whose skill set is, unpolished or is very raw in terms of talent. So we need to accept that, this could be an experiment that doesn't even work out for Kevin O'Connell, despite being a former quarterback himself and being an offensive-minded guy. There's no reason to suggest or to believe that just because they go from a defensive-minded coach to an offensive-minded coach that we're going to unlock anything that we haven't seen. And, that also applies to Kirk Cousins. There's wild speculation that just because we have an offensive-minded guy that now Kirk Cousins is going to become Tom Brady or something like that. I don't buy it. The same thing applies to Kellen Mond. We have to be fair in our critiques and criticisms. I don't think that just because Kevin O'Connell is coming in, that he is going to be able to allow Kellen Mond to ascend. I think he'll be in better hands. I do believe that, but I don't think that Kevin O'Connell just is going to be able to wave a magic wand and be like, whoa, this whole time Mike Zimmer had this quarterback in Kellen Mond that he wasted, and it was so good, and look how good he is. We need to, keep our expectations in check. I don't think that's going to happen, but I do believe that they're going to give him a chance, and he's going to get more of a chance under Kevin O'Connell, this coaching staff, than he ever did or was ever going to get under Mike Zimmer. And that is so important to remember why we're making these changes, why these changes needed to happen in positions of power with this Vikings franchise, from the front office to the coaching staff. Kellen Mond will have a better opportunity in 2022 to develop and potentially be somebody that is important to the future of the Minnesota Vikings franchise. So let me know what you think in the comments below about the Gerard Johnson hire, Kevin O'Connell coming in on Thursday, and Kellen Mond in general. Like, are you buying into Kellen Mond? Do you believe what Mike Zimmer had to say about him? Did he get an unfair rap during his rookie year, being wasted entirely? The preseason looked bad, and I think most local reporters that cover the Vikings beat would probably say that he didn't look good, and him being a starter this year would have been a disaster. So let me know what you think. I'm always interested to hear your thoughts on the subject. Those are mine. Let me know what yours are. Thank you for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.